In some parts, there are. I come from the Midwest, so I can vouch for the fact that there are a lot of good people in the Midwest.
We need to bring them over as refugees.
I don't know if you saw this in the LA Times, the Sunday. I read the Sunday paper a lot, the LA Times, and they had in their opinion section, and it talked about segregation, and the segregation right here in LA.
Yes.
Right, and how segregated. Mark Taper Forum, the Mark Taper Forum,
yes.
You see now, he wrote they put in that there were certain sections that they didn't want black people to live. Kaiser of Kaiser Hospitals also put in blacks they can't live here, couldn't live there. They put this stuff in, and they said, well, why is LA so segregated? It was built that way. It was designed.
Yeah.
They called it redlining back in the day, and to put it, and I know people who went through it, and they said, they also knew certain homes would be, the value of them would go up, so they didn't want blacks to be able to buy those particular homes, even though they had the money to buy them. And they said no, because what they would have, and even though that they were, like the reason why Compton is the way it is, right? Compton used to be predominantly white. Mm-hmm. They moved out. Blacks moved in. They say, and then every time that they would move in, it was always to thinking that, the blacks were coming, so we have white flight. And that's how things got segregated. And then, so when I sit back and you go, Jim Crow, you think about all these different things that they put into law. All right, and then you say, well, things aren't the way they used to be. Yes, they are. You just can't see them. Yeah. You didn't see them.
Yeah.
You didn't even know.
I didn't know. I didn't. I was in the suburbs. I was in the suburbs of Los Angeles, out there in the valley, growing up, kumbaya with my middle class people who were like, pretty, mostly like Asian and Persian and stuff, and then regular white. Honestly, like looking back, like the white people growing up were like kind of trashy. Like the more middle class people were like Asian and like Persian and like Armenian, like immigrant. A lot of immigrants up in the valley, but so that's why I was very kumbaya, because that's what I saw over there, and I had no idea what was going on elsewhere.
I just saw a flag in the valley. I just saw a flag. It said. Pull it more.
Talk into the mic.
I got to do this. I just saw a flag, a tall flag too, that had American flag and "Don't tread on me." This is just a half an hour out of from this area. And I saw, it's just the things that you see outside. Just this is California. We're it's us in New York, right? We're like the liberal states, right? But there's a lot of Republicans here, you guys. There's a lot of Republicans here, and
especially in the valley.
But you should have seen, I always see some crazy stuff. I saw some big white truck come up with two guys in it racing on the 405. I tried to get it on I got a little piece of it on my phone, but it was like spewing all this stuff out of the back, and it said something good about Trump. And I was like, wow, they're really emboldened. Just like they said, they're emboldened. Middle of the 405, like we don't have this all the time. That's why I said this flag that we see right here, I went around the corner and saw, people moving out homeless. This is my town. I know this town. We have more homeless than we ever had. They said like in Los Angeles, it's gone up like 30% or something. There's a lot of stuff going on. We just really have to look at the roots, like I said, capitalism, racism, sexism, all that stuff is all created from that top 1%. They own everything. And then whoever's greedy that jumps on it, they can talk into to keep their peace. Like, I got to keep my peace. I got to keep my peace. That's who that, they're filled with fear. They do it with fear.
They made segregation throughout Los Angeles because they didn't want property values to go down. Like that. That's how insidious racism is. I think for a lot of there's a small minority where it's like truly like hate, like raw hate, and then there's a bunch of other people who just don't care. They care about themselves and they care about making money, and they'll implement laws that will harm minorities because it'll harm their property values.
It's also by degree too.
How
right?
crazy it is. The Beverly, I think it's the Beverly Hilton or the Bel Air Hotel. It was a black architect. and he wasn't even allowed to go in.
Wow.
As well as Hancock Park.
And you know what?
Designed.
You know what?
Black
It's also the
able to go in.
degree of racism too, because it's still racism though. So it's like if, like, say you and me, like us, we all want to work together. Yeah, man, I work with a black guy, I work with a gay guy, I work with a a lesbian, whatever. I work with a Persian, whatever, and just keep going, right? But then it's that degree, like. Well, I can be friends with them, but I don't want them to eat dinner at my house. Or I don't want my daughter marrying this person. Mm-hmm. Or it's that degree of racism.
I will
which
say,
will say
I wouldn't
the
want
Nazis
my daughter marrying
don't want
a gay
anything,
guy. But that's only because those either never tend to work out or they become hardcore right-wing Christians. So if I had
marry
a son
gay guy.
and he wanted to
They're
marry a gay
extremely
guy,
sexy. I'd marry a gay guy. I'd marry a lesbian. I'd marry a straight guy. I told you I'd marry you if you look good, David. You know what I'm saying? Like,
My hair, I get
y'all look good, We got some good-looking people in this room is what I'm saying, We're good-looking on the left.
Not just for
We're
radio.
good-looking on the left and funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just, it's amazing that when I read that article and it's how things got the way that they were and how they were systematically done and put there. Now, if you look through all the regentification that's going over L.A., just looking at LA and you look at Chicago, Detroit.
It was made that way. Yes.
Yeah, it is going to happen, and they're going to come in. And you think people say, "Oh, they're building new stadiums." Those people are going to lose their homes.
But part of that is and I don't know the history of the segregation of neighborhoods in Chicago, where I'm originally from, but there's also yes, it started by the folks who want to keep certain people out of certain places. Right. But then you've got that mentality within the groups, that like in Chicago, there's a neighborhood on the south side called Canaryville, where it's predominantly Irish cops and firemen, but it's predominantly Irish Catholics. There, areas where they used to be big Jewish neighborhoods like Fairfax here in LA, where there is the mentality that once the people are divided and segregated into their areas, there are people who are like, you know what, I like being amongst my people.
You feel safer.
I may not like why we're doing this, but I'm
actually,
pretty cool.
Chicago's older though too, Chicago's older, but like here, we're talking about not having affordable housing that is created by people saying, okay, we're going to put up condos and people can't afford that. So it's richer people coming in, getting those condos. And like, you can see Hollywood. I mean, just go downtown, see how it used to be and see how it is now. Some people might think, hey, that's fantastic. That's great. I kind of miss the people that used to be in Boyle Heights when I used to work in Boyle Heights and East LA and all these other places. It's good people doing, the best they can, but people are getting pushed out to Lancaster or, San Bernardino or whatever.
And the crime is following them out there because they're giving those people who are leaving the bad areas where they're redoing their areas, they're giving them per diems to move. So you had a woman who was living in, say, a one-bedroom apartment. Now she has a 25, right? And she's on, it's a Section 8 home. And she's never had a Section 8 home. They say, oh, she's going to do so well. No, she's going to live because they think the mentality is going to change because you just got a new home. If she still has the mentality of living in the home, it's not going to be because guess what? She's not going to take care of it. And it will go down. And next thing you know, that mentality will follow out there. Lancaster's crime went up. Riverside's crime went up. San Bernardino's crime has went through the roof.
Hey, they got to make the meth somewhere.
Right. And they're cleaning them out, and they're going out there, and all this new is being bought up. They're buying up because they want that area back. They want to redo downtown LA. They want to redo all these different areas. And people are going to get screwed. They're going to, and true, you can get a nice home in Palmdale, but guess what? Pookie and Ray Ray are going out there where you are.
Although I will say, and this is probably the most privileged white thing I'm going to say on today's episode, but I got to say this has been great for the public transportation system in Los Angeles. We wouldn't have the train, going from downtown to the beach if we didn't have, all of the worker bees fleeing out to the outskirts because they can't afford to live in the mix of things where they work.
Yeah.
So, that's one of those things where, like anyone else, yeah, I see the bad, but look at my benefit. Look at how it's doing well for me.
We were supposed to have all that a long time ago, but Henry Ford stopped all that because he's like, let everybody have cars because they don't want us to get around, having a good metro system.
Yeah,
that's why Los Angeles doesn't. It's always the richest cats at the top that make all the major decisions. It's just that some of them are underground and you don't know what's happening.
And folks, here's something fun. You don't need to watch a documentary and get bored. Not that all documentaries are boring, but you don't need to get bored watching a documentary if you want to get a little more insight into what happened in the public transportation system in Los Angeles. You can, better to read the book, but you can watch the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Which is at base about the corporations divvying up L.A. and how Ford and the auto companies colluded with the fuel companies and the rubber companies to get rid of the streetcars and the public transportation get everyone in Los Angeles of their own shiny new automobile. And all these years hence, we have the worst traffic in America. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Right.
Los Angeles.
Well, and also Rockefeller got into it with Ford because he knew that the alcohol burned cleaner than oil, but Rockefeller had all the oil. He didn't want to get rid of it, so
and you can still drive around LA.
He created prohibition. Prohibition was created through Rockefeller.
But you can still drive around LA and see facades of buildings that look like nondescript office buildings that have mesh instead of windows, and inside that facade is an oil derrick because they are still drilling.
Idea.
Yeah, like down mid-city. If you ever drive down to the airport on La Cienega, when you're passing through the oil fields there, but within where is it? I think Pico and Fairfax, right around there. There's a couple buildings that they're drilling for oil inside.
Derricks.
Yeah.
That's
also
insane.
I wanted to bring up what you said about prohibition too. One of the other things was, during that time, like the women suffragettes, right? They were upset because of domestic violence with their husbands coming home drunk and all that. They're the ones who really wanted like alcohol to be stopped and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the alcohol companies, that's why they went against women and them voting. Right. Because, so that all came up for that. So it's one group against another group a lot of times when it has to do with money.
Right.
They're just like, fuck you, you're not going to get to vote, or that certain group. Yeah. You're going to cut into our money that's coming down. Yeah.
Well, so for now, we remain one nation under God, indivisible, as long as you believe everything I say. And on that note, we are going to call it quits for the week, but I want to thank everybody for coming in and bringing your A game. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tymon Shipp. Tymon, you got anything going on this week?
I do. We're going to be performing on September 1st at the Ventura Comedy Club. Mr. Ellis Wind and Keith Michael Ashton, as well as we will have a Ron 3. He will also be at the Ventura Comedy Club September 1st, 10 o'clock show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're on Twitter at Tymon Shipp?
At Tymon Shipp.
Excellent. Kat?
My most pending show right now is going to be at Flappers on September 5th. I'm going to be doing their Tuesday night celebrity drop-in show, which is the one where they recently, I believe, had Adam Sandler and also Seinfeld. So that's a really exciting one.
Nice.
So you can go to the Flappers website, get tickets.
That's Tuesday the 5th?
No, yeah, Tuesday the 5th. Real excited.
Very good. And Michelle March, thanks for coming in.
It's me, Michelle March. What's happening? Yes. I have a show it's called Revive Theater in Santa Monica. It's called the Hidden Diamond comedy show, and it's going to be fantastic.
Excellent. And I'm sorry, when is that again?
It's in Santa Monica, September 9th.
September 9th.
Saturday night. Yeah.
Excellent. So head out to that. I am Dr. David Robinson. You can catch me here every Saturday on Let's Be Treasonable. Follow me on the Twitter at StandUpFallDown. If you like the show, please tell everyone about it. If you didn't, keep it to yourself. For the meanwhile, as we descend further into the darkness, take care of yourselves and, for God's sake, take care of each other. We'll be back next week. Hope you will too. Take care. Goodbye.